Before free agency began, I said we cover all signings here, including Teagan Quitoriano. I just want to call him Quentin Tarantino because it looks like they just swapped the Q and the T and you're ready to roll. But let's talk about the latest addition to the Falcons roster, the first external offensive signing of free agency. Former fifth-round pick out of Oregon State by the Houston Texans. He spent some time last year on the Chicago Bears practice squad. The knock against him, other than just not being a very production field player so far in his career, he has been injured a lot so far as well. Through 3 seasons, he has never played more than 9 games. He has always found himself on injured reserve during those first 3 seasons. So Atlanta looking to try and find the half-glass full side of his game and find him with some healthy, games under his belt and see what they can do. But I know a lot of you, whenever these signings happen, the first thing you ask me is, which is Madden grade, which I think is the funniest but also the best way to really evaluate a player. So I did look it up. It's a whopping 63. So if you're wondering, what does he look like? He looks like a pretty big target that can get a 63 on Madden. I don't know what else to say about this guy other than I just want to call him Quentin Tarantino. In his career, 9 receptions, 146 yards, 3 touchdowns. So what an all-time touchdown percentage. 1 out of every 3 grabs, a touchdown. That's got to be an NFL record. He's going to join a tight end battle with Felipe Franks. We just can't seem to get rid of the old Florida quarterback who broke my heart in Gainesville in 2017. And that's the battle brewing right now behind Kyle Pitts and Charlie Warner. I look at this as nothing more than a roster depth signing, a training camp battle. I don't have high expectations for Teagan Quitoriano. I've never heard of this guy before. I'd be lying if I stood here and I was like, this was a player that I had on my radar. No, you and I had never heard of this guy before. And I like to think I know a lot of players in the NFL. And then Quentin Tarantino comes around in a tight end form, and I am mind blown by this. But I did say we will make a signing. We'll make a video for every signing. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. That way the next Hollywood director under pseudo name gets signed. We're going to cover it here. So join 35,000 strong, hopefully soon. That's what I want to reach on the channel before the NFL draft kicks off. So we're not going to spend 8 to 10 minutes talking about Quentin Tarantino's doppelganger. No, we are going to talk about some draft rumors as well, because I was going to save this for Monday, but I figured if I have you right now, Friday afternoon, as we all get set to watch March Madness, go Vols, we can talk about some of the Mike Green draft rumors, because ESPN put out a really nice article with some of the draft buzz that they are hearing, and what do you know, Atlanta popped up into it. Here's what Field Yates wrote. Green took part in Marshall's Pro Day this past week and did positional drills at defensive line and linebacker, showing off great movement skills and elite suddenness. Among those in attendance was a Falcons contingent that included coach Raheem Morris. I think when you're picking at 15, it's important to not get too sucked into this guy's a Falcon, like I may have done last year with Dallas Turner. But that's a lot easier when you're picking top 10. At 15, there is a lot of wait and see. You've got to do your research because there's a very real chance that your number 1, your number 2, and possibly your number 3 realistic draft targets all go before you. For example, the Bears picking at 10. They could use a pass rusher. I think they might want to go Ashton Genty, but what if he goes to the Raiders? Well, their backup plan might be Mike Green. So while we are going to look at all these draft targets, at length over the next month, I think it's very crucial that picking in the middle of round 1, you've got a good, ball of knowledge for a lot of these players because you've got to be ready to pivot to your plan B, plan C, or possibly even your plan D. Now, if Mike Green's your plan A, I think that's not a bad plan A right there. He led the country in sacks last year, 17, but he's not just a Sun Belt merchant, right? He wasn't someone who just got a bunch of sacks because he played in a lower conference. No, the testing he put on at Marshall's Pro Day was, I won't say historic, but it was jaw-dropping. It was eye-opening, and Green put on a show for everyone in attendance that he did not just get 17 sacks because he went up against some future, State Farm Insurance left and right tackles. No, he had some great games when they went up against Ohio State early in the season, and I think Mike Green is going to be a really solid player at the next level. If that's the pick for the Falcons, I'm definitely going to warm up to it. Warm up to it makes it sound like I was cold on it. No, if the Mike Green's a pick for Atlanta, I'm going to find myself very excited about it, right? He may not be my absolute number one target, but at 15, you may not get your number one target. So you got to have some good backup plans. As things currently stand right now, and this is going to be a fluid thing, but my line of thinking is number 1, Will Johnson, number 2, Jalen Walker, and 3 is really where I need someone to sit me down and convince me that it's Mike Green over Mykel Williams and James Pierce, or Pierce over the other 2 guys, and the same goes for Williams. Those 3 guys are in this cluster, in this tier, that's giving me like a Ricky Bobby moment of I've got a soft serve pretzel in my head right now. Because Johnson and Walker from Michigan and UGA are my top 2 guys. And I still can't believe how quickly I just went 180 on Jalen Walker. But that's what happens when you have a lot of time to kill at an airport and you're like, let's do a little bit of Jalen Walker research because he keeps going top 10 in mock drafts. And I feel like I just don't know enough about a guy who is perceived as a top 10 player in this class. And I walked away or got up from my seat and then took my seat on a nice Spirit Airlines flight with this impression of, yeah, I want this guy in Atlanta. I think he's going to be an incredible defensive player with so much versatility. And for a Falcons defense that's just looking for some kind of anchor, some kind of cornerstone piece up front, go get the best player available. And then we'll figure out, is he an edge rusher? Is he an off-ball linebacker? Is he a hybrid? The guy can play football. So I know we've gone a long ways away now from Teagan Quitoriano, whatever his name is, to Quentin Tarantino, but there's just a lot of fun when you're picking at 15 in the draft since you don't know what to expect. You don't know who's going to fall to you, but you know you're going to get one of the better players. Like, of course, when you're picking like producer Chip's Eagles at 32, you really don't know who's going to fall to you. But you also can't get super psyched about it because you're not going to get probably your top, 1, 2, or 3 preferred targets if you're on the more ambitious side. But at 15, there is a chance you could get your favorite player in this draft. So to round it out, do you want to select Mike Green? I know we've gone a handful of different directions, but let's wrap up this Friday video. I was about to hit the door, head out the door and hit the road and get ready to watch my Vols, but they signed Teagan, so here we are talking about tight end 4 on the depth chart, baby. No one else does it like we do. As I said, make sure to subscribe. If you're still watching, by the way, do me a favor. Drop an ATL in the comment section. I just love the end of the video, crew.